So we are going to be looking at the issue of defaced ballots that were destroyed in Eastern Region, election 2024 related issues. So let's check on ChannelOne TV, in fact, ChannelOneNews.com. We have the Ghana Police Service and the Eastern Regional Election Security Task Force supervised the destruction of defaced ballot papers on Tuesday, December 3, 2024. This process, monitored by election officials and party representatives, occurred following the Electoral Commission's recall of ballots due to broken seal in the Eastern region. Special voting in the Eastern and Western regions were suspended except for Afram Plain North and South constituencies. The Eastern EC Director, John Apiabuafo, commended the orderly destruction process. The exercise has been very successful. We brought all the parties together, the constituency executives, NDC, NPP, CPP, and the others. They checked the seals of the ballot paper bags, and they saw that everything was intact before we offloaded them, and now we are burning them, he stated. The Eastern Regional Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, Baba Jamal Kone, who was present at the dump site, expressed shock about the level of communication at the EC regarding the conduct of today's exercise. I quote, "They never communicated to us officially that they want to discard the rejected ballot papers. It was one of their officers who leaked the information to us. They communicated internally that they should discard the ballot papers and leave them at the district police stations. But I called the EC regional director, and he said he was also told the same. But I told him that we are going to accept the fact that the ballot papers should be kept at the police stations and the bag emptied. And also I told him we are not going to agree, as he stated. He maintained that the NDC will mount a serious surveillance on the day of elections to ensure credible process. And you can actually read more of that on ChannelOneNews.com. All right, so we have gone through it. Ellen, I'm going to start with you. How do you assess the transparency and the process used to destroy the defaced ballot papers?
This is not the first time in this particular election cycle that they are destroying ballot papers for whichever reason. It started off with destroying ballot papers that didn't have the correct serial numbers. Then there was there was another announcement of ballot papers in different parts of the country having either faulty or they were not enough, or so they had to do an adjustment. And then this one of the special voters that had to keep the whole of the Eastern and Western region.
Yeah, Eastern and Western.
Western regions. So for me, I just think that they are doing their work. This is the first time I'm actually seeing an EC this transparent. In the last elections, and I did hear from one of their directors, they said yes, it's been going on when they do their internal findings, they usually destroy it, but they just don't make announcements of it. But because this election is quite particular, and a lot of us have shown interest in it, the whole nation is very interested. I think it's just right that they make us know that they are destroying it. What I find interesting is the fact that the NDC always shows up and then they are making some comment or the other about the fact that they will not agree and will keep an eye. My dear, you kept an eye last 4 years. I mean, if you lose an election, you lose it. If you win, you win it. The Electoral Commission, after 9 elections, this is their 9th one, I expect them to have enough institutional memory to do things right. Let us also remember that whenever you are in opposition, you are always eye-red, as I put it. The MPP were eye-red in 2016, that when the Electoral Commission coughed, we had a problem. The MPP was still eye-red in 2000. I mean, that's the work of an opposition party. I would have been shocked if the NDC had kept quiet over these matters. That is their work. They are supposed to keep everybody everybody on their toes. Otherwise, they would not be a proper opposition party. So they are good at that, and that's what they're supposed to do. So if they do make a bit of noise about it, we can allow them. They are in opposition. As a government, and also very serious about this election, because we intend to get Ghanaians to vote for Dr. Bawumia to become the next president on Saturday. When we do see these things, we might not come out and make noise about it, but there's serious engagements with the EC about these matters. We have our people who are properly situated at the EC offices. They go for the IPAC meetings. They are there 24/7. They've been there for the past months. Everything that the EC does, the MPP is there. We keep our eye on it, including this distraction. Our people are there. It's just that we feel that we have to keep our eyes on the ball. We should be focused. The intention is to get Dr. Bawumia elected and not to be distracted by too many things. So when you see something that is wrong as a party rep, an MPP rep at the EC, you call the attention to it and you get them to do it. So it's good that they have destroyed it. Hopefully going forward, I don't know the status of the transportation of the electoral the electoral items. I presume that by now they should be sending them all over the country. So as we're doing it, anything that comes up, it's good they let us know. But it's good they have destroyed these ones too. Let's move on, and I'm hoping. Have they been able to announce when the special voting for those two regions will happen?
It's tomorrow. Actually.
It's tomorrow.
Yeah,
okay.
Thursday.
So let's hope
they
also go through it peacefully and quietly. And then Saturday we all go out, every one of us. I hope all of us have looked for our voters' ID. If you don't have your voters' ID or it's missing, you can still go out. Just go to your polling station. Go mention your name. They'll walk you through the processes and you vote. Every Ghanaian must vote.
Right.
So far as you have a vote and you can vote, go and vote. We should all determine how this country should move. You don't sit at home and make all the noise. You don't take part in the voting. They allow the rest of us to go and choose your leader for you. And you're going to spend the next 4 years complaining. So get your things ready and go and vote. The EC will do its job. We'll all make sure that they do their job.
Right.
But get out and vote.
Right.
And of course, when you get out, you're voting for Dr. Bawumia.
Right. So now, from what Ellen said and what even most of the NPP communicators had said like throughout this week, it seems like they see that the EC has been transparent, but reading this article, we clearly see that there's a bit of miscommunication going on somewhere, because the rep of the EC said that all the constituency executives were present, NDC, NPP, CPP, and others. And on the other hand, on the NDC, the Baba Jamal Kone actually said that they were not told that it was leaked information. So it was not as if that they were informed. So how does this actually go together with transparency when it comes to how you see it?
So Chris, let me reiterate that the NDC, in as much as we would respect the Electoral Commission and cooperate with it to actually do its job, we are going into this election with zero trust for the Electoral Commission. I think that point needs to be made. And to actually call on the special voters in the eastern and the western regions that tomorrow is their turn, we would urge them as a political party that the inducement that we saw in Ayawaso West Wuogon, if it comes to them from any political party, they should resist it, they should report that candidate, so that at least we are all committing to ensuring that our elections are free and fair. And let me say that on this one, I'm gathering information from our Director of Elections and IT that it was the Electoral Commission who came out with the news that some electoral security has been breached. In as much as we don't trust the Electoral Commission, there is a need to commend them when they get it right. It is not always, you are coming at an EC. But of course, when they fault, we'll come at them. But where they get it right, where we are having reports that they reported of the breach in electoral security and the need for these ballot papers to be bent, we'll commend the EC. But for us as a party, it's not even about the Electoral Commission, though we are cooperating. For us, our appeal is to the good people of Ghana, that the EC is a stakeholder, the security services are, the political parties are, the courts are, but it lies with the electorate to make a decision and make it resoundingly, to actually register their displeasure against the NPP. So whether it is ballot papers being bent, no matter the situations or the circumstances that leads us to a free, fair and transparent election, what we are saying is that Ghanaians must actually vote against the NPP for the deception, for lying to us, for telling us they have the magic wand to turn the economy around, and today we are where we are because of the NPP. Now, let me also remind Ghanaians that, you see, during times like this, it is very typical of the NPP to come and say, to come and, conjure stories. I've heard people say that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama says when he comes to power, what will he do to the free SHS? He has never said that. And the good people of Ghana are aware that that narrative that has been churned out from the camp of the NPP is false. What His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is saying that he will do is that the taxes that it took the NPP to bus their sick members of parliament in ambulances to come and confer on us, to come and confer e-levy, emission levy, boiler levy, what have you, COVID levy on us. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is pledging a social contract with the good people of Ghana that in his first 120 days in office, he will cancel the e-levy that the NPP has imposed on us. But what is the wisdom in the NPP saying that e-levy has created or will create 11 million jobs, and then you want to come back and cancel the e-levy? What wisdom was put together in actually imposing such hardships on Ghanaians, and you think that it should take you another term? The ordinary Ghanaian should go and stand on the scorchy sun to vote for you. Whilst you are in power and you have the opportunity to reverse the hardships, you say that no, I won't reverse the hardships until you promote me. In whose thinking? I think it's the lowest level of thinking. The good people of Ghana watching me, vote for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and vote for the NDC parliamentary candidate in your constituency.
All right. So how can we actually now, to both of you actually, so how can the police and the EC actually work together to prevent more of these incidents happening?
Well, I believe that these are operational issues, and the police and the EC are working together very well, as we can see. The important thing is that when mistakes happen, they're able to identify it and then they rectify it. But to get it 100%, I mean, this is a human institution. Things would happen. The important thing, as I said, is that you have systems in place that picks up all the disparate, the different things, all the things that go wrong, and you are able to correct it. So far, I can say that the police and the EC, I haven't heard anything about them not working together. They've done quite well. For this particular election and for for what is at stake, I believe that the temperature have been managed quite well by the police and everything. Well, what is at stake is quite big. We are looking at whether we are going forward as a nation or we are coming backwards. As we said, some people want to reset us back to the days of doom, so back to the days when parents had to struggle to take their children to school, back to the days where we had to sleep in darkness for ages. And we are also saying that we also want to do an upgrade. We want to upgrade on the good things that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done. We want to move Ghana from the analog system, move into the digital world that the whole world is going into. That is what we are. So it's a choice, whether we want Ghana to go forward or we want to go back. And for this sort of a choice, the police, I think, have done quite well in managing all the political parties and our issues. Of course, typical of the NDC and other opposition parties. It's an election where Dr. Bawumia has actually moved up from being the underdog to, according to some polls, practically surpassing the former president. Let's not forget that the former president was elected or selected by his party a whole year before Dr. Bawumia. So he had a whole year to campaign and to tell Ghanaians what he wanted to do after staying home. For Ghanaians asked him to go back home in 2016. He has had the opportunity of being at home for 8 years, he's had the opportunity to look at what is happening. He's had the opportunity. He's right here in Ghana with us. So he had the opportunity to line up what he wants to come and give to Ghanaians as his comeback. But he came and he told us that he'll give us small chickens, small goats, I mean, and then the latest one I heard is the one that he's talking about giving the young people Wellington boots and the poly tanks to put in the Abobo Ya to be going around planting trees. If we have to plant trees, we don't have any modern way of doing that. And staying at home for 8 solid years, this is what you come up. You don't have any proper cohesive agenda for this country. And that is the choice that Ghanaians are going to make on Saturday. Do we want to go back to a disorganized former president and his party whose campaign is even disorganized, or we want an organized political party that will lead to an organized government? I mean, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo has taught all of us that he knew exactly what he was doing. And getting to the end of his term, we are all seeing it. Do we want that continuation, or we want to go back to the days? And that is exactly the choices that we are going to be making. So for me, I believe the EC and the police in the past 6 months have done so well in managing both political parties. And I believe just 2 days or 3 days to the election, they'll bring it to a good end. And Ghanaians are going to vote, and vote very well, and vote conclusively for the NPP. And you're not just voting for Dr. Bawumia, you're voting for Dr. Bawumia, who is placed #1, and all other NPP parliamentary candidates. We are all in #1. I mean, when you're in pole position, you're in pole position. So as you're voting for Dr. Bawumia, you're voting for the NPP parliamentary candidate. We do not want the situation that is happening in Parliament to happen again. We don't want a hung Parliament. So every president who we vote for must come with a full complement with his parliamentarians to get government business going. This 4 years sort of drama that we had in Parliament, I don't think Ghanaians are interested again. So that's also part of it. That's why you should vote for whichever candidate and vote for the parliamentary candidate. There should be no skirt and blouse in this business.
Yeah, but it all depends on, what the people want at the end of the day.
Well, that's why I'm appealing and encouraging that whichever candidates you vote for that party's parliamentary candidate, because the past 4 years in Parliament has also not been pleasant. I mean, this Parliament, if you do the checks, it's been the Parliament that hasn't really done much work compared to the 6th Parliament, compared to the 7th Parliament, because they've been bickering.
Yeah, but
for me, I think that we should look at it and ask Ghanaians that we tested this. Let's have it half and half, and let's see how it will go. It didn't go too well. So
I understand you. I understand you. But with the case of
it.
saying the MPs, at the end of the day, it's the constituents actually know who is working and who is not working. So if somebody is definitely working for them before, it will be hard to change the person at the end of the day.
That's why I'm saying that most of the parliamentary candidates, they know their areas.
Yeah.
So it's an appeal to the voters that whoever you choose as the presidential candidate, for the sake of Ghana and for the fact that Ghana has to move on, and for the fact that that president needs the people, the parliamentarians to work with, pick the MPs from his party. Of course, being an MPP member, I would plead that as you choose Dr. Bawumia, you choose his MPs.
Yeah.
But then if you decide not to even vote for Dr. Bawumia, whoever you vote for, do vote for them so that we don't have this situation again in Parliament. Otherwise, we simply will not get any work done.
Right.
And it's been 4 years of not getting any work done. I don't think we want another 4 years of this bickering. It's not good for us.
Okay, now.
And so you see, this morning, I've been hearing this, but it is the impudence of the NPP to make a mockery of the Nkuko Nketinketi statement. And anytime I hear that, I try to put it in context. That President John Dramani Mahama was addressing a specific group of people who actually their mainstay occupation was poultry rearing. So it is okay to tell them that I would improve your business by giving you day-old chicks. Now you see, it is also the impudence of making mockery of it when you go to the market, the prices of eggs are soaring. And then it will take a certain intention attempt to stabilize the prices of eggs. Christmas is coming, and you will go to, the poultry farms wanting to buy, some live poultry for the family, and we can't simply afford. But the NPP will sit down and make mockery of day-old chicks. In fact, they would make mockery of themselves beyond 7th December. But let me put that aside. This morning we are being made to understand that it's a choice to be made. Of course, Ghanaians will never choose the wicked DDEP ever again under the NPP administration. Chris, Ghanaians will not choose, an NPP government that cannot keep inflation at a low in such a way that their daily income or their income in general is actually robbed of them. Ghanaians will not choose an NPP government that in the 8 years of the administration, they have borrowed altogether over 11 billion on the Eurobond market to the extent that we have been canned out of the capital market. And in all this, there is nothing to show. Whatever the NPP has borrowed in their 8 years is more than every government put together under this fourth republic. You think that Ghanaians will go to the polls and make a choice of that government again? I am not sure. Ghanaians will also not make a choice over a government who imposed on us e-levy, which of course John Dramani Mahama will cancel. Ghanaians will not make a choice for COVID levy. Every time you call the NPP to accountability, they run and hide behind COVID and Russia-Ukraine war, or what have you. John Dramani Mahama will cancel the very harsh COVID levy that beyond COVID we are paying. We were in this country, and the NPP government told us that they are giving us free water and free electricity. And on this, I say they are confident tricksters. They tricked us, and then we use the water and the lights. Fast forward, they are telling us that you would have to pay for that. It is a past consideration. That's what we call that in law. You don't actually tell somebody that use this for free. Then later you are telling the person that come and pay. Emissions levy would go. The NPP are confident tricksters because they cancelled 15 taxes and introduced 22. Give me just a second to let viewers know. The NPP, they imposed on us the fiscal stabilization levy. They imposed on us the communication service levy. They imposed on us over 20 to 22 levies. And these are the people who have the audacity to say that we are moving you from production to taxation. In fact, on the topic we didn't discuss, I agree with Domilevo that the NPP has actually moved us from taxation to robbery. They've literally put their hands in our pockets. And in that anger and that hunger, Ghanaians will vote against them. I can assure you, we are back next week discussing the victory of the NDC and John Dramani Mahama, inshallah.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Na, who's a member of the NDC communication team, and Ellen Ama Daaku, who is the MPP communications team member. It was nice having you on the set. And ladies and gentlemen, remember that it's your civil right to vote. So go out there and vote, or else someone else will vote in the leader that you probably do not want.